This morning, I heard a case in which the woman got on my last nerve. You know, people fall into relationships for all kinds of reasons that have nothing to do with making the decision to form a strong union. The couple today drifted together, then whined and complained their way into divorce court.
Divorce court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Ray Hargis and Emily Holdfelder. The two of you have been together for 4 years, despite the fact you are only 20 years old. You've been living together for the last 2. You want to save this relationship, but if you can't, you want transitional support because you put yourself in a situation where you can't support yourself and you're going to need his assistance. We will talk about that momentarily. But before we do, Mr. Hargis, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the relationship and why we're here in divorce court today?
Well, the reason why we're here is because, well, the number one reason why we're here is because Emily does not trust me.
Okay.
And I really don't know why she doesn't trust me. I don't give her any reason for her to have any doubts about our relationship. I don't go out and do bad things or anything like that. I don't know. Every time I step out or try to step out, I don't know what she thinks I'm gonna do.
He doesn't come home. That's why.
He doesn't come home? What do you mean he doesn't come home?
He'll leave after I come home from work and then won't come home until the next day while I'm already at work.
Do you stay out all night?
No, not all the time. Not all the time.
Mr. Hargis, that's why she doesn't trust you. It's because you go out and you stay out all night and she doesn't know where you are. Now, whether or not you're doing something wrong is another matter altogether, but that, I'm letting you know right there. Stop wondering, because that's it. So, Mr. Hargis, why do you go out and stay out all night and not call the woman that you're with?
Well, I don't go out all the time, but when I do go out,
you're out.
No. But no, that doesn't happen all the time. That probably happened like once or twice, but not all the time. Like, something will happen that's beyond my control. Somebody will get a flat tire or something like that because I don't drive myself. So I rely on other people's transportation. So if something happens to their car, there's nothing I can do about it.
So he's saying that there was a couple of instances that happened, but it's not a regular event. Can you tell me the last time you remember him going out and staying out all night?
The 3rd of this month.
The 3rd of this month?
Yes.
Did you have a flat tire the 3rd of this month?
Well, yeah, actually, that's what happened.
What was the last time before that he stayed out all night?
He went to his friend's house while I was at work, and I was trying to contact him, and he never answered. Called the friend that he told me he was with, and they said that he wasn't there. And then when he comes home the next day, he comes home like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Did that happen?
Yes, that happened.
Okay. Now, what happened there?
Well, I don't know. She said that she contacted the person that I was with, but when I asked him, he never told me anything about that because I don't know why he
Yeah, but you didn't come home till 4 o'clock the next afternoon. What's that got to, I mean...
I was sleeping.
But why would you get yourself comfortable to go to sleep if you knew you're supposed to be home?
Oh, it's not looking good, Mr. Hargis. It's not looking good at all. I'm trying to help you out here, but it's a difficult task. Let us assume, just for the sake of argument, this guy just can't get home because he can't get it together. He goes out, he goes to sleep, they go somewhere, this and that. Is there anything else that he is doing that leads you to believe that he's cheating on you?
I went through his phone once, and between him and an ex-girlfriend or whatever, there was messages saying, "I miss you," between both of them.
Did you have text messages on your phone between you and your ex-girlfriend that said you missed her?
That was an old phone. Not my current phone. That was like an old phone, like, and then she went through it and...
Anything else? I mean, not that you have to come up with much, but go ahead.
Those are the basic reasons why not.
You say that he causes you to lose your friendships. Explain that to me.
Well, one of my friends, he doesn't like her because me and her, when we're together, we laugh too much. So he doesn't like her being around. When her graduation party came, he didn't want me to go to it. And it was if I went, we weren't going to be together. So
how come you don't like the laughing lady?
It's not really that. It's a whole bunch of other factors that goes into it.
What are the other factors?
Because when they're together, they act like children, and they
At least they get home at night. You can't get home at night. I mean, first of all, she's 20. 20 is the time for. I was a giggler too at 20. You know, what I mean, that's the time to giggle. Nothing funny at 56 anymore, but 20, you can giggle. That's number one. Number two, what are other factors are involved in this with the laugher that you don't like?
Because like one day she had came over to her house when she was still living at her house or whatever. Her friend had came over and she had I went outside and she left me outside for hours.
How did I leave him outside if he went outside?
Because like I told you, like we had talked about it or whatever, and we did not want to be around each other, like her friend and me. So when she came over, I went outside. Yes, and she stayed over for hours, so I sat outside for hours by myself.
Which was a choice that you made. You don't like this person, so I'm gonna leave the house. Why is that her fault?
Because she shouldn't have been there.
Says the man who couldn't get home. Mr. Hargis, I'm gonna try hard to rehabilitate you at some juncture. Has he done anything else? Is it only that one particular girl that he doesn't like, or are there other people that he's alienated you from during the course of your relationship?
All of them. Every friend I have, he finds something wrong with them, and he doesn't want me to be friends with them because they're a bad influence. They don't help me.
Do you have a problem with most of the friends that she brings by?
Yes.
And why is that?
Just the reasons that she said. They're bad influences.
They're bad influences
yes.
on her. Are you a jealous person, Mr. Hargis?
No.
Are you a fearful person?
No.
I disagree, and I'm gonna tell you why.
So yeah, me and him were arguing, and instead of him telling his friend, okay, that's a done situation, he's yelling at me, telling me to stop.
Are you recently married but ready to call it quits? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. Mr. Hargis, I'm going to tell you why I think you're a fearful person. Because you're making an attempt to isolate your woman from anything or anyone that could have an opinion or an idea that is different from your own. You feel a need to make sure that you're the only voice in her ear, because all of her friends cannot be wrong, bad, ratchet, and trashy. You know, so what you're trying to do is to make sure that no one other than you can feed her mind and ideas. And Ms. Holdfelder, if you don't hear anything else I say today, I think you need to hear this. Never, ever remain with a man who does not allow you to contact whomever you want. It is a very unpleasant thing. Because if he is the only voice in your head, he can define who you are for you. And once he can define who you are for you, he controls you. And once he controls you, your life isn't your own anymore. And that's what controlling people do, is isolate you. So the minute they start chopping off people out of your life, I'm just saying, I don't know if you're going to be a controlling dude, but that is red flag number one of a guy that's not about the right thing. You say, now I'm going to get off you for a minute, Mr. Hargis, and we're going to talk about Ms. Holdfelder. You say she has an anger problem. Explain that to me.
Yeah, like, we could be out in public, anything, and we'll get into an argument. She'll start an argument and just anywhere and over anything, the littlest things to the biggest things. It doesn't really matter. With anybody, my friends come around, there's always gonna be a problem. So they don't even really come around anymore because they know how the night's gonna end up in an argument.
Give me an example of one ridiculous argument she started over some small matter that didn't mean anything.
Well, argument, one day she had caught a flat tire. So my friend calls.
You must have a lot of potholes in your town, and nothing but flat hot tires going around. Go ahead.
Well, my friend had contacted his family member so he can bring over a tire. So my friend told his family member he's gonna pay for it and we can just pay him. So then later on that day, we had went out to eat, and then they're talking about it, and she starts flying off at the mouth.
I didn't start it. His friend started it. And I
Hang on, let him
finished it.
finish. What was she angry about?
Cause they was talking about the whole situation, and he was asking for us to pay the family member back for the tire.
Ms. Holdfelder, why don't you tell me what happened? Because I didn't understand his version.
Okay, we did go out to eat that day, but his friend just starts going off like, "Oh, you wouldn't have a car if it wasn't for me. You wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for me." Basically, like, he got the car for me. So yeah, me and him were arguing, and instead of him telling his friend, "Okay, that's a done situation," he's yelling at me, telling me to stop. But his friend's still going on. Like, his friend's very disrespectful.
Was your friend angry?
They was both angry at each
They
other.
were both angry.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. When your woman and a buddy are you're on her side. And if she's wrong, you can tell her later. But out in the world, Big E, who's my dude, I got beef with any of it. Oh no, you don't fuss at my wife. You don't holler at my wife. You don't. That's a real man thing. Isolating her from her friends is a boy thing. Taking care of your friends in front of your wife is a man thing. Two separate things.
I go through his phone, and I kind of already had feelings that that's what was going on because he's very secretive with his phone. So once it was confirmed that it was going on, it was just done. Like, I was just very upset.
If you would like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. I believe you bought the video, Mr. Hargis, so tell me what I'm about to see.
Well, in the video, you're gonna see her actually destroying my room because I went out to a family member's birthday party. And that was like around like the same time where she's seen the things in my phone,
That's
my old
why
phone.
I destroyed the room, because of the messages I found
Found in
his
the old phone.
Yes, that's
Okay.
why. It wasn't
But you
'cause he
do
was
not
out.
deny this is you.
No, that was me.
And you know this is what you did.
Yeah.
Well, let's look and see what happened.
You'll never see your TV again. About to be sold. You. All your clothes, gone. Mine. Thank you. Everything of yours will be sold.
Do you normally respond that way to unpleasant information?
No,
Yes.
I don't break his stuff or anything.
I don't think that doesn't seem like a one-time thing. I mean, you know, doesn't seem you would break out with something that deep.
Well, yeah, because I go through his phone, and I kind of already had feelings that that's what was going on because he's very secretive with his phone. Like, if we're together in an area and he's on his phone, he'll like tilt it and cover it like he has something to hide. So once it was confirmed that it was going on, it was just done. Like, I was just very upset. So there was nothing else. I was hoping if I did that, he would kind of realize something and it would change, but
No. Mr. Hargis, has she done things like that before?
She has done things like that, but as in like actually destroy my room, not to that extent.
I
Like
got
that
you.
was like the biggest thing.
So did you leave after you destroyed his room?
yeah,
And where are you living now?
there.
So you moved back.
Well,
You destroyed his room, stormed out, and then turned around and walked right back in.
kind of, yeah.
Did you ask her to come back, or did she just come back on her own?
Well, she plays these games where she leaves and then comes back. She does that frequently. So I just tell her to come back and she comes back.
Why do you keep coming back? If you're so dissatisfied with whatever services he's delivering, why would you keep coming back?
Because when I leave, it's hoping that he would realize that I left and maybe he'll change. And every time he tells me to come up, it's following with, oh, I'm gonna change. And we sit there, have this whole conversation about what he's gonna change and how things are gonna be different. And then 2 days later, it's what it was.
In divorce court, couples tell me everything about their relationships. Want to share your experience? Join the conversation on our Twitter page at Divorce Court. On Facebook, check out other fans and their intimate issues. You know everybody has something to say about love. What's on your mind? I'm going to explain to you the art of the leave. But before I explain to you the art of the leave, I'm going to explain to you the purpose of 20. The purpose of 20 is exploration. The purpose of 18, 19, 20, 21 is to figure out what's over there and what that's like, what's over here and what that's like. You got dude A, dude B, dude C, dude D. You don't have babies with none of them. You just date one for a little while. You see what he's about, what's going on, and if he's doing some things you don't quite like, yeah, you get rid of him, then you get guy B. And then you go out with him for a little while, and he does this, that, and the other thing. He might have some symptoms of B, and you're like, I've already seen that disease. I'm going to get another guy. And then you go on to guy C. And after a while, you'll start to get patterns of behavior and proclivities and things you like and things you don't like, and dudes that are cool and dudes that are not cool. And then you take that pool of dudes and you watch them. And you go out with them, you date them, and you pay attention. You never have no babies. You just watch them. Because dudes are at 20, just as women are at 20, disposable. They're all experiments that you engage in. And it seems to me that, you get a guy at 18, you got to, like, if I lose him, I will lose my life, I will lose my everything, I will lose my world because he is my man. And despite the fact that he doesn't come home and I'm always upset every day about maybe he's cheating on me and I don't have any fun and I don't have any joy and all my friends are gone, but I must maintain him at the cost of my life, then you're setting yourself up for unhappiness ad infinitum. So hence the art of the leave. You always should be progressing to a higher educational and economic plateau. That's your whole deal. The end game is not getting a guy. The end game is getting a life that you love, that is passionate, is good. Along the way, if you gather up a guy who's headed with you, that's cool. But that's not the end game. You seem to think getting a guy is the end game. No. Not at all. It's not what you want to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? So leaving is about walking out the door and have someplace else to go and something else to do and something better to think about. Leaving is not for letting him believe that you teaching him a lesson. You're not teaching him anything other than that you'll come back when you do leave. It teaches him that he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, because you keep coming back. When you leave, you keep going. You don't turn around. You don't step back. You move forward to something else altogether. You with me?
Yes.
You want $1,000 for transitional support. Why do you think he ought to pay you $1,000 for transitional support?
Because right now I pay the bills and I bring the money in.
You don't work?
No, Yana.
Let me explain to you transitional support right quick, and then I'm gonna go. Transitional support is when one person stopped working or is not working and have the other person is supporting them while they're doing the home thing. He might be able to ask for some, but you can't. But you didn't ask, so it's too late. I'm just saying. Bounce, the art of the leave. This matter is adjourned. There will be no recovery. Ladies, I do not know what the problem is. I run into a lot of young women like Emily who have a man that's not satisfying any of their needs. Ladies, 20 is not for fixing them. 20 is for moving on.